Okay. Well, I open this Polk County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's May 5th, 2026. All commissioners are present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Their extra agenda is back at the table by the entrance. And first up is comments for none on this agenda. And nobody's rushing up. Next up is approval of agenda.
So moved.
Second. Been moved and second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimous. Approval of minutes from April 14th and April 28th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
If we moved and seconded, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimous. A notice of intent to award bid, Travis Sedgwick and Todd Whitaker. And they just literally come running in the door.
Like Jimmy Johnson.
Perfect.
Yeah, so first one is paving.
The overlay. Be either or.
Huh?
They're listed generically.
Okay.
Either or.
Okay, so first one we'll talk about is striping. This is a notice of our intent to award striping contract to SPM, which is Specialized Pavement Markings. They submitted the low bid, the only bid. And Schedule A for that was $372,409.40. Schedule B was $102,212.90 for a total of $474,622.30. So we are prepared to issue notice of intent to award that bid.
What was the budgeted amounts for those? How does it compare to the budgeted amounts?
But budgeted amounts is very close because it's very close amount to what it was last year. Yeah. And so I don't recall exactly what we budgeted. That's buried underneath another line item. So it sums up, but I would have budgeted, 5% more than what we expended last year. Be right on. My concern long-term is that these may start going up.
Why is that?
Only one bid.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is unusual, given the other project received many, and we're hearing from other municipalities and others that they're receiving quite a few bids these days and prices are going down. So just, there must be one in the area.
Yes.
Really? So there's a folks listening, if you want to get into the striping business, it'd be a good time.
Yes. Yes.
So in Todd, is this in a certain area of the county or is this roads?
It's not in any particular geographic area. Typically what we do each year is we try to stripe 100% of our center line and about 60% of our fog lines. Typically you fog line every other year, but there are some areas where we have to go out and do fog line every year because it's high volume traffic and it gets a lot of wear. It ends up being about 60%.
What is this material? Is it anything special or new? High builds?
Yeah, this is so we bid two schedules this year. We bid the first Schedule A was our typical waterborne paint, which we switched to waterborne probably in the last 5 years or so, away from the low VOC, just because not very many people are using low VOC anymore. So the price started climbing really fast. So we switched to the waterborne, and that's pretty typical to what most people are using. We did change our beads a couple years ago to a little bit higher grade of glass beads that they drop in the wet paint to give it a little bit better retroreflectivity. So Schedule A is our waterborne paint. Schedule B is high build. We put some quantity in there to do that. We don't have any necessarily identified that we're going to do. So Schedule A is the primary in that. So no action by the board is necessary. We just wanted to inform you that we are prepared to, unless we ask you for action. Yeah, so we're recommending approval. We just need your concurrence.
A notice to the bidder, because there are no other bidders, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So the second one, by the way, I'm bad at social skills. Travis Sunseth, he's our engineer, has been with the county now for 2 years.
About a year and some change.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's doing well, coming up fast.
Welcome. And I understand you spent some time, was it the Marines and the Navy?
I was in the Marine Corps for 5 years, Air Force for 5 years, spent some time in a handful of different companies, and now I'm here.
Welcome and thanks for your service.
Thank you. So the next one is our 2026 overlay. We had 5 bidders. It was pretty competitive. A lot of them were fairly tight, but the low bid was with Roy Hout Company for $237,922.40. So that was less than what I had estimated the cost to be. So we were happy to see those costs come down. And so we would recommend that we issue a notice of intent to award to Roy Hout Paving.
And would you have been comfortable with any of the 5? Never name names, but
But we're under.
All 5 of those have paved for us and done quality work.
The lowest bid is about 9% from the next lowest.
Yeah.
Anything else stand out with this bid spread to you? Seemed pretty, contained in a range.
And how many miles are you gonna be overlaying?
It's just 1 mile.
1 mile.
Yeah.
say that number again. How much?
272.
$272 for
272,000. Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
1,000, yes. For 2 inches,
2.5.
2.5 inches for 1 mile.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that people hear this, what this costs
Yeah.
to do a mile with 2.5 inches of an overlay,
Yeah.
1 mile. So again, just real time, real life, when people are saying, I want my road paved, here it is. This is what it really costs. And that doesn't include building any kind of road. That's just putting an extra 2.5 inches on top of one that exists.
Yeah, and 2.5 is a little more than we typically would. But yeah, the prices are, the oil prices directly impacts these projects. And I think, when I came to the county, or said 16 years ago, but we were paving for about, 100,000 a mile for 1.5 inches. So yeah, it's definitely climbing up there. Now, obviously, if we were going to be doing 6 or 7 miles, then you're going to get a lot more economy of scale.
What is the approximate per mile cost for gravel to pavement conversion? That's still.
I don't want to give a number because the last time I gave that number, it was this number.
I said approximate.
I probably need to go calculate that again.
Well, maybe, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
That's a common question too, obviously, as Fisher Pope said. Folks also have questions about how we prioritize those conversions and these overlays, and there's, so.
When I used to put that out there more, it was 2.5, 3 times what it was to just do an overlay.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know that necessarily holds anymore because one aspect of that has risen sharply. The other aspect of it maybe hasn't versus, the actual paving cost versus, excavation and road work costs maybe hasn't inflated as much as oil prices have. So I'd have to refigure it to see what it is, but I'd be happy to return with that number if you'd like.
I think it'd be case to case, depending on how wide the gravel road is and how well it's established as itself, instead of having to dig it all out and reestablish the entire.
Right.
Yeah, and when we were, creating our priority list for, gravel road conversions, we looked at that, what was a road geometry, because you can't necessarily just say, hey, let's go pave it.
I understand you're both engineers.
Yeah, that now that it's a paved road, it's a basic rule. And it's not those, all of a sudden that hill that wasn't a problem anymore is now a safety hazard. So it needs to be lowered down and curves need to be flattened out, super elevation created where it used to not be. And, it's just driven at a much higher speed. And so it has to be designed for that.
Mhm.
So for the record, where is this 1 mile located in the county?
Enterprise Road,
Enterprise Road.
off of Highway 22 till the end of pavement.
I gotta give a shout out to whoever created the spreadsheets, the tabs with the bids.
Oh, yeah, that was,
Well done.
Spreadsheets.
The present, really, the materials were very, very thorough. I really appreciate the time you put into that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, keep forth the good. Thank you, guys.
thank you guys.
Yeah, do I have any non-listed items today?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, with that, we're adjourned.